Hello and welcome to another video. So I took a little bit of a break at the end of the last expansion. I wasn't really feeling it. We covered pretty much everything we needed to cover dex-wise, and not too much else craziness went on for that expansion. Like, some minor changes to decks here and there, but nothing that was, like, substantial enough to warrant, making a bunch of videos, and I wanted to focus on more my health at the moment. But getting back into it with Heirs of Omens here, we've got the new set coming out in just a few hours from now. Heirs Omen's looking pretty promising, going back to, obviously, Omen cards. I haven't looked super heavily into this set so far, just a few of the Twitter reveals I've took a quick look at and things like that. So we're going to look at every single card from the set and the other bonuses here, which are the tickets, which are pretty cool. I actually don't mind this guy. This guy looks pretty sick, not going to lie. It's nice that we get another decent male character. And then, obviously, classic. Can't really go wrong with Disdain. Disdain's always cool. Also, the visages are just really sweet. Then fully animated cards for this time around. We've got Omen of One, Great Manifest, and Heir of Destruction. Heir of Destruction's right up my alley, so that's kind of sick. And then, obviously, we get into the cards here. So we will start out with the forest cards as usual and just work our way across, because why not? It's the easiest way to handle this. So, Devotee of Unkilling, our first bronze card. Select enemy follower on the field and give it a -0, -1. Evolve, replicate this effect of this card's fanfare ability. So this is just a stat reduction card. Obviously, if the stats reach 0, that will also kill them. So it can also be used as a form of removal. I think Forest this time is leaning towards more of these statty effects. So the next bronze, the 2-cost 1/3, Bearer the Fairy Blade. Whenever an allied pixie follower enters the field, give this follower +1/+0, just a simple buff effect for pixies. So you play pixies, you buff this card. Kind of interesting, could be a lot of fun if we can make it more aggressive. Then we have the 2-drop bronze spell, Bestial Swipe. Select enemy follower on the field and deal it 4 damage. Combo, draw a card. So just another draw removal card for Forest. Forest actually getting some pretty alright bronze cards looking at it. They don't seem terrible. Then we have a 6-cost 5/6 silver fanfare. Give all enemy followers on the field -0, -3. Super Evolve, replicate the effect of this fanfare. This is just going to be massive removal, pretty much. -6 to the whole board on Evo is pretty solid, although it is a Super Evo effect, so that's not as good. If this was just a straight Evo, it would probably be obviously a better card, especially for a turn 6. But even just -3 will take out a lot of wide boards that things like Sword usually like to put out, so could potentially see some play. We have a Greatwood Warrior, a 4-cost 4/4. Last word, add a Deepwood Bounty and a Fairy to your hands. This is just more card generation. Don't mind that at all. Then we have Hamlet of Unkilling. Select a card in your hand and discard it. Draw 2. Engage, destroy this card. Select an enemy foe on the field and give it -0, -2. So another nice draw engine card, although it does require you to discard. But also the fact that you get to then basically destroy something with 2 health or less, or potentially just minus enough off them to weaken them for your range is also quite good. A lot of draw cards for Forest, it seems like, along with the stat reductions and stat alteration cards. So 9-cost 4/6 gold. We have, when this card enters the field, summon an exact copy of it and give the exact copy -0, -1. Interesting. When this card enters the field, summon an exact copy of it and give it... Wow, okay. When it enters the field, too. It's a rush ward as well. So if there's a way to cheat this thing out more effectively, you could potentially just duplicate this. Not being a fanfare, like, very interesting. Then we have Eradicating Arrow, 1-drop gold. Does this X times. Give a random enemy follower on the field -0, -1. X is your combo, so another nice combo piece card. Probably good synergy to something like Roach being a low-cost spell that's potentially also removal and synergizes with combo. Then on to our first legendary, Heir to Unkilling. So these are how the Omens are going to function, I believe. We're going to have what are known as Heirs, which is kind of interesting. So say 4-drop 1/3 fanfare. Give all enemy followers on the field -0, -2. This thing has Ambush. Once on each of your turns, when an enemy follower is given minus defense on the field, restore 1 defense to your leader. Super Evolve, give your opponent Crest, Heir of the Unkilling, or Heir to Unkilling. Countdown 2, whenever an allied follower enters the field, give it -1, -1. So this is a great way for you to generate a little bit of healing, while also potentially just disrupting the enemy board for a couple of turns. While also having some of its own removal for a 4-drop. Very interesting legendary, actually. I think a lot of these Heirs are actually going to be fairly interesting cards. Not that I'm a huge Forest fan, but maybe this kind of variant could turn me around. If I don't have to run Roach, maybe I could get behind this. So this is an 8-drop 6/6. Annihilation Manifest. So I'm not sure if these were considered the Omens in this case, or if the Heirs are. I think the Heirs are the Omens, technically. Not really sure. I haven't looked super into it, I'm going to be honest with you. And given that they aren't labeling them as Omens now, it's like, you know, hey, I think it's Heirs, though, are the Omen cards. Anyway, this is a fanfare. Select enemy follower on the field. Give it -0, -6. Evolve. Add an Annihilating Onslaught to your hand. An Annihilating Onslaught. Card over here. Activates in hand at the end of your turn. Reduce the cost of this card by 1. Deal 6 damage to the enemy leader. If there is a Annihilation Manifest on the field, deal 20 damage instead. Yeah. This card is kind of fucked up. Oh, dude. That's... yeah, holy shit. That's potentially just a straight up lethal card. Interesting. Very interesting. Then we're going to move on to Swordcraft, Devotee of Usurpation. So we're going to probably have a Devotee for every class, I imagine. Looks like we're getting back into Loot Sword, though. Jesus. Fanfare, add a Gilded Boots to hand. Last word, add a Gilded Goblet to hand. It's just a 2/1. So, loot cards. Select an allied follower on the field and give it +1 and a +0. And rush. Gilded Goblet is just a restore 2 defense to your leader. So, a pretty straightforward effect there. Honestly, Loot Sword was... well, I honestly quite enjoyed Loot Sword, actually, looking back on it. So, nice to see we're going to get some more of that. Then we have a 6-drop 5/5 bronze. Comrade of the Swordmaster, last word. Summon a Comrade of the Swordmaster and remove last word from it. Interesting, so it's just self-duplication. Don't mind that at all, actually. Probably not super relevant, we'll see. I'm not sure. There's probably some better drops in that category. And then we have a 2-cost bronze spell, Shield Bash. Select an allied follower on the field, give it ward, deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. So ward and removal. Interesting. Especially for a low-cost spell. Don't mind that. We have Supplication? I can't say that. Of Usurpation. 2-drop 1/2 silver. Fanfare, you get a Gilded Necklace. Last word, get a Gilded Blade. So these are your other 2 Gilded cards. Select an allied follower on the field and give it +1, +0 on ward. And select an enemy foe on the field and or the enemy leader and deal it 1 damage. So Gilded Blade's just your damage card. Then we have Petty Scout, a 5-drop 3/3 silver. Fanfare, summon a random Swordcraft follower that costs 3 or less from your deck. Evolve, select an allied follower on the field and give it +2, +2. Actually, not too bad. Getting to summon a random Swordcraft follower that costs 3 or less from your deck as a base Fanfare seems pretty solid. And then having the Evo to give stats to stuff also seems pretty solid. For a silver card, at least. Then we have a 1-drop Amulet, Lair of Usurpation. Engage, destroy this card, select a mode to activate, add a Gilded Blade and Gilded Necklace to your hand, or add a Gilded Goblet or Gilded Boots to your hand. Sorry, and Gilded Boots to your hand. And then we have the 4-drop 3/3 gold, Congregant of the Usurpation. Fanfare, add a Gilded Goblet and Gilded Boots to your hand. Whenever you play or fuse a loot card, deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower, and evolve, recover 1 play point. That seems interesting. Loot Sword could be very interesting. We'll see. We'll see if I can get behind Loot Sword or not. And here's where the fuses come into play. So a 1-drop spell, returning slash, fuse loot cards, deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower, add a Gilded Blade to your hand. If you fuse this card, draw a card. Then of course the legendary, a 6-drop 5/6, Heir to Usurpation, fuse loot cards. Deal X damage to all enemies. X is the number of differently named cards fused to this card. Super Evolve, replicate the effect of this Fanfare ability. So basically just big removal card is the aim. Then we have the 3-drop 3/3 Hollowness Manifest. This thing is a Fanfare. Gain Crest, Octavia Hollowness Manifest. Evolve, add a Gilded Blade and Gilded Necklace to your hand, and the crest is a countdown 8. Whenever you play or fuse a loot card, advance this crest countdown by 1. Last word, add a Remnant of Hollowness to your hand. So Remnant of Hollowness is a deal 4 damage split between all enemies for a 1 cost. Interesting. Very interesting. And that is all of the Swordcraft cards. So we'll get on to Runecraft. Runecraft doesn't really need anything more powerful, but we're going to see. Devotee of Truth, a 2-drop 2/2 bronze card. Fanfare, this card's cost isn't 2. Fanfare, if this card's cost isn't 2, restore 3 defense to your leader. That's an interesting gimmick. Let's see how we're going to take advantage of that. 4-drop 3/3, summon a Paper Shipagami. Evolve, replicate the effect of this card's Fanfare abilities. This just gives you more spell boost out of paper. Interesting. I think I'd rather run other cards to take advantage of, but it seems like a solid 4-drop. Crystal Gazing. We have a 4-drop spell. Gain Crystal Gazing. Countdown 2, last word. Draw 2 cards. Deal 4 damage to all enemy followers. Huh. So it's just delayed clear with draw. Don't hate that. That's fine. 5-drop 3/2 silver. Supplicant of Truth. Fanfare. Deal 3 damage to all other followers. If this card cost isn't 5, draw 2 cards. So there's definitely going to be a gimmick here that I'm about to find out, obviously. That one seems okay, though, but for a 5-drop, maybe it could be a little better. We have a 3-drop Institute of Truth. Whenever you play a follower whose cost has been changed, draw a card and advance this amulet's countdown by 1. Engage, select a follower in your hand, increase its cost by 1, and give it +1/+1. So there it is. The engage on this is what potentially could activate the other cards. Then we have the 4-drop spell, Risky Amalgamation. So this is more of a dirt kind of style card, I guess. Summon a Guardian Golem and a Clay Golem. I mean, technically you could run this in anything. It's pretty generic, but a lot of the Golem cards are typically dirt related, so. Then we have Congruent of Truth, a 3-drop 3/1 gold. Fanfare, if this card cost isn't 3, summon 2 exact copies of it. Rush, Super Evolve, summon an exact copy of this. Huh. Interesting. So you could potentially summon 4 copies of this due to Super Evolve? It's an interesting board floody type card. Or potentially just turn 4, you summon 3/1 like stack of them. Very cool. 2-cost gold, Illusionary Conjuration. Select an enemy follower in your hand, increase its cost by 1, destroy a random enemy follower. Nice, another way to buff potentially the followers so that you can play them for a little bit more. Like, it's a double-edged sword, but to get some of those bonus effects does seem worth it. And this thing also will destroy a random enemy, which is pretty good. Then we have a 2-drop 1/1 legendary. We have the Heir to Truth. Fanfare, draw a card, evolve, select an enemy follower on the field and banish it. Super evolve, banish all enemy copies of it from the field. Interesting, interesting. So you get to banish all enemy copies of it from the field. So anything that spams the same sort of card over and over, this would be really good against. Select an enemy follower on the field and banish it. Even just as a base Evo, that's pretty solid. Especially with Fanfare and being low cost. An interesting one. Then we have Rayo, Elimination Manifest. And now that I see Rayo, I'm like, yeah. So the Manifests are the old Omens, and the Heirs are obviously like the new bring-ins. So this is the 9-cost 9/9 Fanfare. Reduce the cost of all followers in your deck by 3. Transform a random spell in your hand into a Estra's Elimination. It costs 0 until the end of turn. The Elimination card is normally a 4-cost. Increase the cost of all followers in your hand by 1. Destroy all enemy followers. Interesting. Interesting. It's a little high cost, but I could see how you could use it. There's definitely ways to get around that a little bit. Alright, getting into Dragon. We're going to get through the halfway mark after this. So this is a 2-cost 2/2 Devotee of Disdain. During your turn, whenever this follower takes damage but isn't destroyed, draw a Dragoncraft follower. That's kind of fucking sick. Basically just a tutor. Awesome. Then we have a 6-drop 6/6 bronze. Fanfare, destroy all damaged enemy followers. So this is just damage removal. So if they're damaged, they get removed. Not as big a fan of that at 6-cost. We'll see, though. 3-cost Raging Lightning spell. Deal 5 damage to all followers with the highest defense. If you're in overflow, deal 3 damage to all leaders with the highest defense. Interesting. So this is like a play from behind card? Huh. Interesting card. 5-cost 3/5, Supplicant of Disdain. Rush, ward, at the end of your turn. Fully restore the defense of this follower and restore the same amount to your leader. I like this card quite a bit. It's basically built-in healing. It'll heal itself and heal us. So that's always good. It has Rush and Ward, which makes it both defensive and offensive. So I actually that seems like a solid 5-drop overall. We'll see if it sees much play, though. Ah, yes! Yes! The Ocean cards, they return. 3-cost 1/1, Ocean Rider. Fanfare, summon a Majestic Megalorca. If you're in overflow, summon 2 instead. Whenever an allied marine follower enters the field, give it ward. Oh my god. Like we needed more ways for Dragon to swarm the board with orcas, though. That's already started to become a problem, where orcas can just kind of flood you out early. And now we have even more ways to do it. Sick. Then we have a 2-drop Amulet, Nation of Disdain. Countdown 4, engage 1. Deal 1 damage to all followers. So, wow, okay. So it's just a... It's just like a recurring, what's his face? Apollo. Interesting. Then we have a 6-drop 5/7 gold, Congregation of Disdain, Fanfare, deal 3 damage to all followers. At the end of your turn, if this follower's defense is 3 or less, give all Dragoncraft followers in your hand +1/+1. Interesting. So it deals 3 to all followers, then if its defense is 3 or less, it gives all followers in your hand plus Dragoncraft followers in your hand +1/+1. Huh, don't hate the design of that card, it's interesting. Might be a little high cost though, we'll see. Although it can function as decent removal, so maybe it'll see some decent play. Then we have a 1-drop Ferocious Flame Gold. Select an allied follower on the field and deal it 1 damage. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. If you're in overflow, draw a Dragoncraft follower. So another tutor card. Damn. While also being removal and dealing damage to your own cards, which can trigger a couple of our other effects there. Interesting. Then we have Heir to the Disdain, a 9-drop 5/7. Fanfare, do this 3 times, deal 2 damage to all followers. So effectively we're doing 6 damage. Ward, during your turn, whenever this follower takes damage but isn't destroyed, deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. So due to the first effect, we're also going to hit the second effect, which will then ping the leader for 3. And then super roll, fully restore the defense of this card, and do this 3 times. Damn, okay. Deal 2 damage to all followers. So you can potentially deal 12 damage to board. This is the entire board, both yours and your enemies, while also dealing 6 damage to the enemy on Super Evo. That's pretty interesting, and it has ward. I don't hate that at all. And this thing gets to live, technically. Very interesting. Galmiax, I'm always pronounced her name wrong. Adore Manifest, a 5-drop 5/5. Fanfare, gain the crest. Adore Manifest, enhance 7. Give this follower Storm. Okay, just what we need. Storm generator. Once on each of your turns, when this follower takes damage but isn't destroyed, deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. The crest is once on each of your turns. When an allied follower takes damage but isn't destroyed, add a Fangs of Ardent Destruction to your hand. Fangs of Ardent Destruction is just deal 1 to all followers. Okay, interesting. The fact that this gains Storm on Enhance 7, which basically puts it in the same category as Forte, basically. Although Forte does have Intimidate, but we're going to be using her in basically the same way. So you can effectively run, her and Forte and have so much, Storm damage for 7. And this thing is also obviously still pretty playable on 5. That seems like a very nice card. Alright, on to Abyss. Devotee of Entwining. Fanfare, select a mode to activate. Deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. 2, give this follower +2/+2. Evolve, replicate the effect of this card's Fanfare ability. I like this. This basically also can replace Apollo. We're getting a lot of cards that are kind of like Apollo replacements. Having multiple choices as well is quite nice. And again, can just replicate Apollo's effect basically. Same cost as well, but you can either make it a 3/3 or do the damage mechanic. Yeah, I don't hate that. I think that's solid. Then we have Ephemeral Demon Princess, 8-drop 4/6 bronze. Fanfare, select 2 enemy followers on the field and destroy them. Deal 4 damage to your leader. The fuck? I know it's 8 oh, it also has Storm, sorry. It also has Storm, which makes it even better. Holy shit. This is an 8-drop 4/6 Storm, which if you're under a Super Evo, would be 7 damage, which is already pretty good for Abyss. And it removes 2 things from board. It just select 2 enemy followers on the field and destroy them. And deal 4 damage to your leader, sure, but self-damage is pretty common in Abyss. Jesus, that seems really solid for a bronze. I don't know if it's going to be a little slow, but I don't know if it's going to matter. We're going to have to wait and see how that shakes out, but Jesus. Double pop removal without Evo? Wow. 4 cost, March of the Brute spell. Deal 2 damage to 2 random enemy followers and the enemy leader. Don't hate that. That's always good. 2 damage to the enemy leader and 2 damage to 2 random enemy followers for a bronze? Yeah, we'll take it. 4 cost, 4/4 silver. Supplicant of Entwining. Fanfare. Select a mode to activate. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. Restore 2 defense to your leader. Replicate the effect of this Fanfare ability. So this is your healing engine or removal engine. I like that. I like these mode cards in Abyss. 2 cost, 2/2, Spirited Gravekeeper, Enhance 7, Reanimate 5, and Reanimate 3. Okay, so this just brings shit back for us if we want. A little weak on 2, but pretty okay on 7, but not crazy, I don't think. I don't know, pretty neutral on that card. 2 cost, Castle of Entwining, Amulet. Fanfare, select a mode to activate, draw a card, give a random allied follower on the field +1/+1, engage one, destroy this card, replicate the effects of this card's fanfare ability. Wow, okay. So you can set this thing up, get any kind of storm follower out of Abyss, give a random allied follower on the field +1/+1. So as long as your storm followers or things that can hit face are only already, you know, are the only things on board, you're going to guarantee boost those. And then you can engage it for 1 as well, and do the same thing, boosting them for +2. Jesus. That already seems really good in a craft that can both swarm the board and play heavy aggro. Then we have a 5-cost 4/4 gold, Congregant of Entwining. Fanfare, select a mode to activate, summon a Congregant of Entwining, and give it and this follower rush. Number 2, summon a Congregant of Entwining and give it and this follower ward. Or number 3, give all copies of Congregant of Entwining on the field +2/+2. Super Evolve, replicate the effect of this card's fanfare ability. So the idea would be to either A, summon a bunch of these, you know, play its fanfare, summon the rush version or the ward version, and then super evolve and you could summon another one, or use one of the first 2 and then buff it, would be my play. So that you have 2 buffed followers as well. Very interesting. Don't hate that at all. Then we have 3-cost spell, Screaming and Loathing. Select 2 modes to activate, recover 1 play point, draw a follower, draw a 3-cost spell, or deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. So you get to activate 2 of these. Interesting. Draw a 3-cost spell could guarantee drawing another Loathing, which is very interesting. Recovering a play point could potentially allow you to play another Loathing on turn 5. See, if you grabbed both of those, it doesn't really do anything though, it just thins your deck at that point, right? And then you'd play the second one. Yeah, it would just kind of thin your deck. But being able to use the draw a follower effect or deal 4 damage to an enemy follower as well, I don't think it's a bad card. I'm just trying to think about how you'd want to use it most effectively. It's very, like... I'm not sure how you'd play it, you know? I'd have to really think about it. It seems good. I'm just not exactly sure how I want to utilize that card. So we have a 2-cost 2/2. What a beautiful card this is. Shamnukt, Heir to Entwining. Fanfare, reduce the faith of Faith Shamnukt, Heir into Entwining by 10. To give it increase... by 10. To give it, increase the number of modes you can select by 1. Okay. Super Evolve, select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Add a copy of it to your hand. So this is the new Faith mechanic. These are going in the crest slots, I believe. The new Faith mechanic, from what I saw. It looks like Faith builds up based on, yeah, whenever you select a mode, increase Faith by 1. So then you can then spend the Faith. Okay, yeah. So then you can spend the Faith to do the other stuff. Interesting. I guess since this is such an early card as well, you're kind of playing it to get it out there. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to see how this works, but this could be really cool. Destroy it, add a copy of it to your hand. That's crazy too. Select an enemy follower on field. By the way, Super Evolve is wild. Select an enemy follower on field, destroy it, and add a copy of it to your hand. You can just steal cards from your opponent. That's fucking insane. What? Dude, imagine you steal a bloody Kun, or you, like, something like that. Holy shit. There's a lot of good cards you could potentially steal. That's awesome. 7-drop 5/5, Rulni and Valkyrie. Or Valkyrin. Fanfare, select a mode to activate. Add a Scream Diffusion to your hand. Add a Wings of Desire to your hand. So Scream Diffusion is summon 2 copies of the previous card and give them Rush. Wings of Desire are select an allied... the previous card on the field and give it Storm. That's pretty good, actually. I don't hate that at all. It's basically another way to do Storm on this card, which is good. And potentially just Board Flood as well is also an option. And that is all the all the Abyss cards, sorry. Now we get into the Haven cards. So we have Devotee of Repose is a 2-drop 0/4 bronze. Fanfare, gain Crest, Devotee of Repose. Countdown 4 at the end of your turn. If an allied follower didn't attack this turn, give a random allied follower on the field -2, -0, and ward. Okay. Didn't attack this turn. Very, very interesting. Okay. I'm trying to work, like, yeah, it generates more wards, but at the cost of attack, which isn't great. 2 cost 2/2. Knight of the Holy Order, ward. Whenever this follower is given a plus attack or defense on the field, restore 1 defense to your leader. See, like, they don't even synergize, because that's minus. Unless that's an error, but I doubt it. Which is kind of sad, honestly. Restore 1 defense to your leader. Blinding Faith is a 4-drop spell. Deal 3 damage to all enemy followers, enhance 8, draw 3 cards, restore 3 defense to your leader. Yeah, seems okay. Deal 3 damage to all enemies is a decent clear. Enhance 8's not as good, but yeah, I mean, if you're already in late game as Haven, which is what you're probably doing, this could be okay. Then we have a 3-cost 1/4 silver, Supplicant of Repose, Fanfare, gain a crest, Supplicant of Repose, ward. This thing has ward, sorry. And the crest does countdown 4 at the end of your turn. If an allied follower didn't attack, restore 1 defense to your leader. See, that one makes more sense. I like that one. 3-cost Temple of Repose, Amulet, countdown 4, last word, restore 2 defense to your leader, give your leader barrier. Okay, giving your leader barrier seems kind of fucking sick. Although it is on the last word, so you do have to count down 4. You can engage, though. Advance assignment is count down by X. X is the number of crests you have. Interesting. I kind of get that now. So you can combo, like, Devotee of Repose with this, I guess, for an effective thing. Winged Lion statue. Oh no, are the lions going to come back? Oh, you don't want to see the Jade Lions if they come back one day. 3-cost Silver Amulet. Countdown 3. Last word. Summon a Holy Falcon and a Holy Flame Tiger. That just seems really good. Engage 1. Advance Assemblers countdown by 1. Like, if you're already running Amulet Haven decks, like, this is just a solid pick. Then Congruent of Repose, a 5-drop 2/4 gold. Fanfare, select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Evolve, game the Crest Congruent of Repose, countdown 4 at the end of your turn. If an allied follower didn't attack this turn, draw a follower with 4 defense. Okay, so it's a follower tutor. I like that. That's solid. Shining Disenchantment is a 4-cost gold, countdown 4. Last word, deal 4 damage split between all enemies, restore 4 defense to your leader. Engage, advanced assemblers countdown by X, X equals the number of crests you have. Like this style of effect. Hopefully we get more of these. Then we have Himika, Heir to Repose is a 6-drop 0/4. Fanfare, gain Crest Himika, Heir of Repose. Super Evolve, set the attack of all enemy followers on the field to 4. Crest, countdown 4 at the end of your turn. If there's an allied Himika, Heir of Repose on the field, give X random enemy followers on the field with 4 or less attack, can't attack followers or the leader, and at the end of your turn, banish this card. X is the number of crests you have. Okay. So this... Okay, interesting. So this card gives them 4 attack or less, and... Sorry. The Super Evolve sets all their attack to 4 on the enemy board. Then the crest basically tells them they can't attack followers or leaders, and at the end of their turn, banish this card. So they banish their cards at the end of their turn, which basically locks them out of a turn if they're a full board. Like this. Solid. Then we have Marion Despair Manifest. So this is a 4-drop 4/4. Fanfare, add a Torrent of Despair to your hand. Evolve, gain the Crest, Despair Manifest. Crest at the end of your turn. If allied followers didn't attack this turn, deal X damage. X damage, split between all enemies. X is the number of crests you have. So another interesting and solid one, especially being such a low cost at 4. So I definitely want to be able to check that out. Torrent of Despair is a 2-cost spell that's generated off that. Banish a random enemy follower from the field. Delay the count of all your crests by 1. Nice. So you're able to keep your crests up for longer, basically. Very nice. Like that a lot. I think Haven got some really interesting stuff. And it'll be interesting to see if we can make a very cohesive deck with the crest engine. And we're on to Portalcraft, Devotee of Destruction. So this is a 4-cost 4/4. Fanfare, give this follower plus X. X is the number of other allied cards on the field. Destroy all other allied cards on the field. And this thing has ward. So throw this in puppets, maybe? Give this follower plus X. X is the number of allied cards on the field. Could also be used to destroy your own amulets for last word effects. It could be interesting. And then we have a 7-drop 3/3 Supersonic Fighter. Fanfare, summon an ominous artifact Y. Fanfare, select an allied artifact follower on the field and give it +3/+3. kind of interesting. Ominous Artifact Y is a pretty solid one. That's your board removal one. And honestly, it's, yeah, the fact that it just kind of does that, not a bad card at all, I don't think. Then we have a 4-cost bronze spell, Wired Assault. Select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Add 2 copies of a puppet to your hand. So this is a destruction and puppet generator. Then we have a 2-cost 2/2 silver supplicant of destruction, fanfare. Select another allied card on the field. If you selected one, destroy it and deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. Evolve, replicate this effect of this card's fanfare. So I assume we're going to see some cards that are going to have last word, like synergies. Given that those cards are kind of like activators. This is a 5-cost 3/4 field scientist fanfare. Select a card in your hand and discard it. Draw 3 cards. Could be good in something like puppets where you're generating cards. It's also a draw 3, which is kind of interesting for 5. I'm not entirely sold on it, but it could be alright. Then we have a 2-cost amulet, Wasteland Destruction, fanfare. Select another allied card on the field. If you selected one, destroy it and draw 2 cards. Last word, draw a card. So this is one of the few cards where it's like, yeah, we could use this, activate it on another card, and then use the other cards to trigger its last word. So not enough of these yet, though, so we'll see. Fanfare, destroy X random enemy followers. X is the number of other allied cards on the field. Destroy all other allied cards on the field. So what are the cards are we destroying yet? We're almost at the end. A 2-cost gold, Devastating Soprano? Soprano. Select an allied card on the field and destroy it. Summon a white plasm, I can't say that word. New Revelation. So White Plasm New Revelation is a 3-cost amulet. Countdown 1, last word, restore 1 defense to your leader. Summon a black. Black is also countdown 1, last word, deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. Summon a white. So these are loopable. So these are your targets. So these are what you're trying to do. So you're activating this to get white. White summons black, black summons white, and then you just loop over and over and over again with destruction effects as much as you can. That seems to be the aim. And I assume the legendaries here, which we're about to look at, are going to also do that. So, 3-cost 2/4. Ward can't be destroyed by abilities. Good, because it still triggers the abilities, even if it can't be destroyed by abilities. Very good. Super Evolve. Deal X damage to the enemy leader. X is the number of allied cards on the field. Destroy all other allied cards on the field. Solid as. Like it. That's one of the few cards that are going to be good. 4-cost 2/4, Lishna, Melody Manifest. One of my favorite omens, for sure. Fanfare, add a melodious monody to your hand. Can't be destroyed by abilities, so both legendaries can't be destroyed by abilities. Very important. Evolve, summon a white fucking new, we'll just call it New Revelation, because that's easy. Melodious Monody is a 1-cost spell. Select an allied card on the field and destroy it. Deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower, so this goes in synergy with the white and black. So this is how we can get another white or black on the field, so we effectively have 2 generators for white, which is really nice. These also shouldn't be that easy to banish, because we don't have that many good banish amulet effects that we've seen so far, so... That is all of the Portalcraft cards, though. Now we're going to go on to the neutrals, which there are nowhere near as many of, so this should be pretty quick. We'll see if there's anything really nice here, though. So we have a 4-cost 2/2 bronze Apostle of Veracity. Fanfare. Select another follower on the field and give it +4/+4. Wow, okay. So any aggro deck that wants to run this could be really nice. 4-cost spell, Greatness Ascend. Draw 3 cards. If there are no duplicates in your deck, recover 3 play points. So this is for like Highlander, the Highlander mechanic, which is usually what the guy pictured here and the legendary we're going to get to usually are built around. I actually I don't hate this card at all. Like draw 3 for 4 cost on its own is already pretty good. 2-cost 1/3 inspirational one. Activates in hand when an enemy follower super evolves. Give this follower Bane, and this thing also has Ward. Kind of neutral on that. 3-cost 3/1, dogged one. Activates in hand when an enemy follower super evolves. Give this follower Storm. This thing has Rush by default, but then gets Storm. So these things are basically the same idea. 3-cost Amulet, Tablet of Tribulations. Fanfare, banish all duplicates from your deck. So this card would auto-trigger the other cards, basically. Engage, draw a card. Interesting. It also would thin your deck out a lot for you, which is, I think, quite good. Because this thing is an interesting card. So, 4-cost 3/3, Great Manifest. Fanfare, add a Great Testimony to your hand. Evolve, gain the Crest, Great Manifest. Crest, when you gain this Crest, replace your deck with the Melregion deck. And I believe this is like a 75, 76 card deck or something from what I looked at. And transport the Reaper card at the bottom of your deck into a victory card. So that means when you do deck out eventually, you do just win the game, which is sick. At the end of your turn, discard all cards not named Great Testimony and draw 6 cards. So this one basically just allows you to cycle through your deck faster, as fast as you can. This is also a very low cost card, so you can start doing this very early. Great Testimony. Select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. So this is just straight up removal. Very interesting. It should be for a very interestingly to play deck, I think. Then we have Glyslane. I always mispronounce her name too. 3 cost 0/3 Veracity Manifest. Fanfare. Select another allied follower on the field and give it +2/-2. If both players have 10 max play points, add a Sweetness of Veracity to your hand. This thing has Drain. Evolve. Select an enemy follower on the field and give it +2/-2. So you can effectively buff your card as long as you have enough health, obviously, to maintain this. You can do a decent buff, and then you also get this spell if they're at turn 10 for both players are at 10 play points, which is a 5-cost spell, Sweetness of Veracity, deal 5 damage to a random enemy follower and the enemy leader, which is pretty solid damage wise. So you can do some funky stuff on turn 10 or when both players have 10 play points. In most cases that'll be turn 10, but some exceptions with Dragon and stuff. You can potentially turn a long game into just a pretty much kill. If you have a low-cost Storm and then you just play this and buff it and play this and buff it, you could do some interesting stuff. So that is every card from this set. This, like I said, it does go live in just, 3 hours from when this video is made. By the time I actually publish it, it'll probably be just less than 3 hours, but hey. And we've got some pretty cool stuff coming with the exchange tickets, and we will definitely be checking out some of these Omen decks. I think some of them are going to pop off pretty well, and some others maybe not, but we're going to have to wait and see. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys probably in a few more hours when I release a deck. So, till then, see ya.